A high school teacher from Washington State learns her punishment for having sex with a student.
Hex, Crex, corrections. Damn it. TikTok overlords. Entertainment and educational purposes only.
Is it just a slap on the wrist? Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. A judge in Spokane County, Washington, sentenced McKenna Kindred to 2 years probation for having sex
Having less
with one of her students. No jail time.
Damn.
Kindred also has to register as a sex
offender. Did you see her face in that mugshot, y'all? Man, that lady looks crazy. Look at that. Oh, that's not even a mugshot. Y'all, I thought that was a mugshot. That's like her yearbook picture. Oh, no, you two. What are you thinking about that? That is crazy as hell.
No jail time. Kindred also has to register as a sex offender, but not for life. She'll have to register for just 10 years.
What?
The 17-year-old boy and Kindred began messaging each other on Instagram, and some students at Central
Oh, Lord. They did it for the gram, huh?
Valley High School discovered the messages and became suspicious back in December of 2022. Then Kindred reported she was being harassed by allegations that she was having an inappropriate relationship with a student. So school officials called the cops, and Kindred ended up being charged.
Man, you are crazy as hell. Not only are you crazy as hell for doing that, but then you're also crazy as hell for calling people out who were saying that you were, knowing full and right that you were. Man, that's crazy as hell.
Kindred was 24 when she had sex with that student at her home when her husband was out of town on a hunting trip.
How dare you?
You're gonna burn in hell for that one.
When she was sentenced, she apologized for the harm that she had done. Matt Murphy is a former prosecutor who prosecuted sex crimes for years. Matt, your first thoughts on this sentence for McKenna Kindred? She is not going to serve a day in jail.
Well, each one of these cases has to be determined.
She ain't gonna be a teacher anymore, though.
On its own merits and its own equities. So this is a young woman who cheated on her husband, had this abusive sexual relationship with this teenage boy. Apparently it began when he was 16, but may not have been actually consummated until he was 17. And,
oh, hell.
You know, the judges have wide latitude and a lot of discretion in the sentences they choose. Justice comes in all different shapes and sizes. So in this woman's case, you know, she's got to be a registered sex offender for 10 years. I'm sure her marriage won't survive it.
What? No, you think? You think?
Her career won't survive it. So there are consequences outside of a custodial sentence. That said, you know, one of the things that you see a lot on cases like this, and this is a thing, you know, these young teachers that have sexual relationships with their students, you know, there's kind of the locker room, knock, where was she when I was a student thing.
Right.
And I've prosecuted these cases. And the thing that everybody forgets is that when you have an adult woman like this, in addition to the potential impact on the boys and their development, and it looks like this young man actually had to leave the school, there's also the risk of pregnancy. And that happens sometimes in these cases. We saw that with Mary Kay Letourneau. And that is a consequence as devastating to a male victim of something like this as anything that could befall virtually any other victim of violent crime or crime. I mean, if you think about it, if your liquor store gets robbed, you recover from that. If you're mugged in a hallway.
Wait, what? What is this dude saying? He's saying that it's worse for the 17-year-old to be too hot for teacher. That's worse than if you get mugged or you get run at gunpoint. The hell are you talking about? That sounds crazy as hell. They didn't bust through the door and bust into the cash register. The dude was oh man, that's crazy as hell. Okay.
Or an alley, you can recover from that.
Y'all, what do we think about that? Do you think it's worse that the 17-year-old and the 23-year-old teacher or 24-year-old teacher? Or is it worse that somebody gets robbed in an alleyway? Because you can recover from that. What?
If as a sexual assault victim, as a teenage boy, you impregnate somebody who insists on taking that pregnancy to term and has that child, in I think every single state, the law basically says that boy, that sexual assault victim, is now financially responsible for
He should be
for that child. So
yeah, no shirt. He should be. He's the dad. This dude's making some weird points. Oh my God, this guy did this. Now he's financially responsible. Yeah, that's how it works. That's crazy.
This can be a devastating thing, impacting the
Is he trying to say because he's 17?
lives of young male students, and that's something that you don't really hear too much about.
This boy was 16 when it started. According to everything we know, according to the allegations, which now are facts, she's admitted to it. So, they're proven allegations
right
at this point.
She's convicted. Right.
She's convicted.
She's convicted.
Right.
No more presumption of innocence. She did it.
Correct.
So, right.
Yeah, she did it. She's a registered sex offender now. So my point, though, is, we've seen recently, and we've covered quite a few of these here on Crime Fix, 12-year-old students being molested.
Oh, see, like, hell no. You're going to burn in hell for that.
By teachers. The thing that's still the problem, though, it doesn't matter if he's 16. It doesn't matter if he's 17. He's still a kid. She's still the one in the position of authority. Now, say he was of legal age. Say he's 19 and she's 27. And there's still that age difference. You can think whatever you want, but still, she wouldn't have been in that position of authority over him. That's where there's this issue that comes in. So she's using her position as a teacher to engage in this relationship. So, she's indeed a sex offender, but just saying you only have to register for 10 years, is that saying, well, you're only a little bit of a sex offender? Doesn't she have the risk of reoffending? She won't be a teacher ever again, but she still may go after younger kids, maybe 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds again.
Yeah, this is a movement that we've seen, especially in the Western states, California, Oregon, Washington, where it used to be sex offender registration was for life. And now we're seeing this push to end that. I think that is
that is crazy as hell. California, Oregon, and Washington don't want it to be for life. They want you to just have like 5 years, 10 years, and then you're off. Nobody has to know.
You what?
Man, that is crazy as hell. Oh my God. So in 10 years, she could go back to work as a teacher. And in 10 years, she's going to be what? 36? Damn. Oregon, California, Washington, y'all are crazy as hell for that one.
Incredibly bad idea. Okay, when it comes to sex offenders, just broadly, child molesters.
Dear God, entertainment and educational purposes only, TikTok. This is a true crime channel. The person who's going to review this, because for sure it's going to get whatever, entertainment and educational purposes only. This is a true crime channel. We're talking about something this crazy lady did right here.
Rapists.
Grapes. Jesus crikey. Man, this is a horrible video to try to watch on TikTok. Y'all come over to YouTube, The Mystery Project, because the TikTok's probably going to end any second now.
Personal experience in dealing with these cases over and over again as a prosecutor. Sex offenders, especially sexual predators, do not get better. All the therapy in the world does not help them. And we saw this in the 1970s where there's this idea that once they went to prison, if they quote unquote got the help that they needed, these guys were released. And what we learned is that they continue to do this. They might get caught again. They will reoffend 100%. Now, this situation may be a little bit different.
Whoa.
Because of the circumstances. This woman, I can't imagine her marriage was exactly great. Whether she is an actual sexual predator or not, or whether this was, a one-off is open for debate, but this idea that sex offenders can do less than lifetime registration is, I think it's folly by a lot of these legislatures in the Western states. In California, I can't stand it. It's like the idea that a man could molest a child and then not have lifetime 290 registration is what it's called, is absolutely insane. It is madness.
That is crazy as hell. Y'all, the update, basically, this is a teacher. She was like 24. One of her male students was only 17. They clanked, diddy clanked, We haven't had that sound effect in a while.
Clank, diddy, clank, diddy, clank, clank, clank.
They clanked it up while her husband was out of town. She didn't get any jail time. She got 2 years of probation and only 10 years on the list. After 10 years, no more list. That's what he's talking about, this attorney. He's like, it's crazy. And that's in California. That's in California, Oregon, and Washington. And she's from Washington State. Whoa.
So hopefully she doesn't reoffend. Hopefully, regarding her situation, I think
But you just said that they always do. He literally said 100% of the time they do.
she was 23 when she met him. Maybe this is the only time she'll do it. I hope that's the case. But that 10-year sex offender registration thing is something that's being applied to men and much younger children. And it is, I think, an abdication of the responsibility these legislatures have to protect children from future sexual
That is crazy.
abuse by these people that have been caught already.
I can tell you right now, people have to want to change. They have to truly admit. And I can say this because my mom for years, full disclosure, counseled sex offenders with substance abuse issues. And they really, she counseled people who did prison time and got out of prison. They really have to want to change. But sometimes there's just something so wrong up here that they can't. But they have to keep themselves away from temptation, and they have to really go through intensive therapy. There's a lot that goes into this. And I feel like there almost has to be a monitoring that goes into this, not just 2 years probation, but if you're going to register for 10 years, there almost has to be some monitoring with that so that sex offender
That's the list.
status is lifted. But that's just my 2 cents. I want to go through some of these messages, Matt, that they
Oh, hell no. They're going to read us the messages between them?
discovered between this teacher, McKenna Kindred, and her students. She is saying stuff to him. Apparently, this was all going on Instagram.
Oh, hell no. They did it for the gram.
Things like, I want you in my room, using all
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. I thought that was about to get real close right there. Thank God she said room.
kinds of sexual language.
Oh, God.
They had sex at her house while her husband was out of town.
Dude was hunting. Dude was literally out on a hunting trip. Man, imagine he comes back. Oh, I forgot my...
You what?
You're obviously taking steps to hide this relationship. She knew what she was doing was wrong. She was getting jealous, according to these messages, when he was either sitting by or talking to other girls in class. It's really, really...
Oh, Lord, man, you crazy self for that one. She's over there. She's the teacher giving other girls detention because they're talking to her little 17-year-old boyfriend. What was her name again? Mrs. Kindred. Why do I have detention? Because you're talking to my man. Get out of here. Go see Principal O'Shaughnessy. Principal O'Shaughnessy? Get out of here.
How dare you?
What's that from, y'all? What's that from?
weird and bizarre.
Right. She, the modern era, the prosecution of sex offenders like this, cell phones and computers are, they're incredibly valuable as far as coming up with evidence to prove these
Caitlin, almost. Mandy, yep, that's it.
cases, because they all have, some sort of electronic trail, either for the specific relationship or what they're into. Once you get into a lot of computers, if somebody's into children, sexually,
Bop, 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 bop.
you find that almost 10 out of 10 times if you've got if you get into their devices. So it's an incredibly useful tool for law enforcement, but it also paints the entire picture of their entire relationship here. So, I mean, I think the way to
Insane.
interpret that in the positive is maybe she's just so dumb about leaving that electronic trail with the text messages and everything else that hopefully she's not sophisticated in this and she's not going to do it again. But yeah, it's incredibly damning. And because they had that, that's why in the modern era, 15, 20 years ago, this woman would have denied it ever happened, right? But now because of text messages and that sort of thing, she couldn't, which is why we got a guilty plea and the family didn't have to go through a trial. The school also is likely going to be liable in a civil context for this. So this is going to cost the school district, almost certainly there will be a civil suit filed in this, I would imagine. And given the way the mother is talking, I would be surprised if that hasn't already been done. But this is an issue. It happens in every state. And some of these young teachers, and there's a pretty wide range of consequences. I mean, if you Google some of the other ones, I've even been on your show before where we talked about one, I think that happened in the state of Alabama, where the consequences were more severe than what happened here. So on social media, if some young woman who's a teacher is contemplating doing this with one of her teachers, maybe this disposition doesn't look so bad to her. I don't know. I don't know how much deterrent effect there is. What I can tell you, though,
Whoa, that's crazy as hell.
to pick up on your other point, I prosecuted the Rodney Alcala case, and he was a sex offender who kidnapped and attempted to murder an 8-year-old in 1968. And when he finally got caught several
That just gonna burn in hell.
years later, he only did 34 months in state prison after getting quote unquote therapy. And when he was released, Rodney Alcala killed at least 13 women
Oh my God.
that we know of. But the lead investigator on that, if you do the math and look at the places he was, he might have killed 100 people after that. So when it
Sweet. Jeez.
comes to the truly predatory sex offenders, there is no therapy that works. There's no drug that you can give them. As long as they draw breath, they are going to abuse people. And that's something that it seems like almost like we've forgotten. And unfortunately,
Man, Steph Case Files in the house. Hey, what you doing, girl? Make sure you follow her, y'all. Get her to 100K. You were at like 75 last time. 75.4, y'all. Give her a follow. She does awesome work. Come over to YouTube as well, y'all. The Mystery Project on YouTube. You can find the channel. And YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Let's get 100 likes. Come on, y'all. Everybody hit the thumbs up.
it's a lesson that we are going to relearn as states gear more towards early release programs and therapy for sex offenders. It doesn't work. It does not work, especially not for the predatory ones, I can tell you. So hopefully this woman doesn't reoffend. 10 years, hopefully it's enough for her. The judges, I like to defer to the discretion of judicial officers when they assess something like this. The judge had all the facts and made the determination. I hope he was right, and we'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
Man, look at that picture of her, y'all. You could tell like something, you know what I mean? Like she's got those eyes. You know what I'm saying? TikTok, you can't see it, but if you come over to YouTube, you can see it. But like she's got that like look of like, hey, where you're just like, oh God, oh Lord.
there was some pretty salacious, and salacious may not even be the right word, but graphic maybe is a better word, videos and things exchanged between the two in one.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Pictures and videos exchanged between the two?
The victim's mother discovered it, Matt.
Oh, Lord. Can you imagine that?
And the victim was holding his
His suntan lotion.
genitalia, and she responded with this video, receiving the video. McKenna Kindred did. I wish you were behind me doing this right now.
Oh, no, lady. You are out of your mind. You what?
You what?
This lady was married, y'all. That's the crazy. Well, it's equally as crazy, but it is It is insane that she was married, y'all. This is her husband. He's out of town on a hunting trip. And, oh, Lord.
I mean, this is some very, very graphic stuff. I mean, I get it. She's a sex offender. She's having sex with her student. But
entertainment and educational purposes only, TikTok overlords. Entertainment and educational purposes only. I know TikTok's going to get mad as hell, y'all. And if the stream all of a sudden just shuts off, the Mystery Project on YouTube, you can come watch the rest of it.
this is some, wow, pretty adult
And y'all, hit me with these bears. We got to get these goals going, y'all. We got to get these goals going. Let's go. Let's go.
stuff. I get that he was 17, but he was still a kid. And we all know that boys especially don't mature as quickly as girls. You know, they're just not as fully developed up top in the prefrontal cortex and stuff like that. I mean, you probably
The heck? Stop. Speak for yourself, Anjanette Levy.
know this from your days as a prosecutor. It's just boys develop more, they don't mature as quickly as girls. So I just think it's really disturbing. These women who are in these positions of trust, especially when they're supposed to be nurturing. I mean, maybe it's just a fallacy that women are nurturers. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
What are you saying?
Well, I think that, one of the, I mean,
Anjanette Levy say that mothers aren't nurturing, mothers aren't, compassionate and loving creatures. The hell are you saying, Anjanette Levy? That's a crazy.
I hate to use the word funny, but one of the funny things about this with a lot of these teachers is that this is a 17-year-old American male, right? And when she sends that video to him, there is no way that that guy is not going to share it with at least one buddy, and that's why, the idea that they're going to actually be able to keep their mouth shut is pretty much zero. And yet these teachers, these women go out and they do this and they get caught over and over and over again. And in this case, the mom found it, but I'm sure he showed it to a friend or two. It's only a matter of
Oh, Lord have mercy. He couldn't keep his mouth shut, neither could she. Oh, no.
That was easy.
That's crazy.
Emotional damage.
time before they get caught. And that's something that,
Yeah.
hopefully that throws some caution into them or causes them a little reticence before they do this, because this is, they're going to get caught. If not the electronic media, the big mouth of the kid they're involved with, and he's 17, but like I had a case once where there was a 14-year-old and his older brother said it really messed him up. The boys often have to leave school because they're the subject of gossip and heckling from the kids and all kinds of stuff, potentially bullying. I mean, that's to a bunch of immature kids in high school. This is like red meat for the gossip. So this kid had to withdraw from school. That impacts their education. But I expect that I'm going to be back on your show again soon, talking about the next one that comes down the line. I mean, this is a really interesting thing. These women tend to be young. They tend to be married, in the cases that we see. And for whatever reason, they tend to be, quite attractive too. So for a 17-year-old boy, somebody like, McKenna Kindred, they're going to roll with the opportunity, I think, more times than not, which is
Literally. That's crazy as hell that attorney just said that she's quite attractive. And he looks like he's in his probably late 50s, early 60s, and she's in her early 20s.
part of the predation, I think. So, locker room humor aside on it, it is sexual abuse.
Yeah, that you make a very interesting point. One of the not funny things about this, but also kind of funny, Matt, is the fact that McKenna Kindred thought she was going to outsmart everybody on this. And she reported that people were making these allegations that she was having an inappropriate relationship with a student. People were saying stuff online, and so she reported it to the administrators at the school. And I'm sure that was so that they would say, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening to you, you're being victimized. But obviously it came back to bite her because they went to the cops and everything came out. So let's hope she's learned her lesson. Matt Murphy, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
What do y'all think? Did she learn her lesson? No jail time, 2 years probation, 10 years on the list, and then after 10 years, see ya. She could probably go get a job as a teacher again.
It.